Welcome to our latest FIGU group update. And for this episode, we have Michael Uterbroek with FIGU-Landesgruppe Canada. Michael first found out about Billy Meier in 1986 through the movie Contact. He wrote his first letter in 1987 and became a passive member in 1991. Michael, in 1992, made his first of 12 visits to Switzerland. Back in Canada, Michael was part of a small informal study group based in Toronto, which later became the FIGU Canadian Study Group in 1997. In 2011, they founded FIGU-Landesgruppe Canada. Welcome to the Billy Meier Books YouTube channel, Michael.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
So we'll start right off the bat with what does FIGU stand for, the acronym FIGU?
Right. Well, it actually stands for Free Community of Interests in Border and Spiritual Sciences and Ufological Studies. But in 2017, and one can read it in the contact reports, Contact 693, I keep looking over because I've got some notes to the side here.
Sure, great.
Yeah, they shortened the name to Free Community of Interests Universal.
I see.
So that's easier to remember, I think.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Well,
and
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say the second part, FIGU-Landesgruppe. Well, what does that mean?
Oh, well, Landesgruppe is it's like a land group, which is okay. So there are different categories of groups for FIGU. There are study groups. There are interest groups, Interessengruppen, Studiengruppen. These are German words. Or there's the Landesgruppen. So it's like the how do you say it? It's the it's the country group. So it's FIGU, Free Community FIGU-Landesgruppe Canada. So that means for the country of Canada. Yeah. I guess you could say it that way.
Okay, great. And how often do you meet, and what do you primarily do at your meetings?
Okay. Well, generally speaking, I can say that we meet once a month, and we cover internal matters that, we need not go into. Actually, I did make a little list here, so I'm just going to check to make sure I have covered things. Well, I guess our meetings, I could discuss how our meetings are structured in such a way that there is no hierarchy. So, for example, even though as the president of the organization, it is absolutely equal value to all members in our group. Decisions are done through voting and majority rules, but we try to make it so that it's unanimous. Tasks are done totally on a free-willed basis, so nobody is given a task, why don't you do this? No, it's tasks are presented, but it's whoever is so inclined, or if nobody's inclined, well, that's fine too. So everything is voluntary. And of course, because we are a not-for-profit, there is no personal gain, no remuneration. So that's pretty much what happens. Let me just, it's voluntary. There's no persuasion, no coercion. None of that stuff goes on. It's a cooperation, and we do our best to work together and, for the mission and to, that's it.
Great. Okay. And maybe you could tell us a little bit about what some of the books you've published in the past, the English translations of Billy's work.
Sure. That's easy to do. We've published a lot of books. So I'll go chronologically from what were the first books that we published. So the first one we published was Decalogue, Dodecalogue, and that is coming from the Patali level, which is the highest level of the pure spiritual planes. That is Billy received a one-way transmission, and he wrote it down word for word. So that would need some explanation as to what are the pure spiritual planes and what is creation and the evolution of everything. And but it is truly an amazing book. It has the laws and recommendations of creation, of the creation. So these are really guiding principles that one can think about and see if there's any logic and then if apply, hopefully. And then there's another book that we wrote, we published, which was we translated actually from German to English. So our group was involved with the translation of the Decalogue as well as publishing. And then there's the Psyche, which as well is another truly amazing book by Billy. Then there's Goblet of the Truth. That one we did not translate, but we did publish. It was translated by Willem and Marianne in Switzerland. So I don't need to go into that. Talmud Jmmanuel. Again, that wasn't translated by us, but we were tasked with the publishing of it, that book. Then there was Arahat Athersata, which is one that we did translate and published. That's coming from the Arahat Athersata pure spiritual plane, which is the lowest of the pure spiritual planes. And so that's interesting, the way that Billy is able to adjust his consciousness so that he's able to receive information from these pure spiritual planes and then write the information down. So that's very, very interesting process. We are so lucky to have him around so that we can have all this information at our disposal and help us to grow and evolve to be real human beings. Gotta love it. We're so lucky.
We are so lucky to have him.
Yeah. And then another book we published is Through Space and Time. That's the photo journal book, photographs of Billy's the ships that Billy has taken pictures of, and other photographs as well. Then another book we've translated and published is Symbols of the Spiritual Teaching, and so that is also another interesting book. In the category, for me anyway, it would be okay. I'll leave that aside. I was going to say, I'll say it. What the heck? You should. Yeah, I should. The Book of Names is another one of those books that is like lists, lists of names and their meanings. I find that so interesting. But this one is words that, can be anything from evolution to life to, you name it, creation to despair or happiness, or all the different key words that have symbols associated with them. And so there are these words, and then there's these pictures that one can look at, and some of them are in color, so that's even more interesting because it adds another layer or dimension to the image themselves. So there's that. So we have Symbols of the Spiritual Teaching book that we made available, and more recently we have about Fluidal-Energy, respectively, Fluidal. What is it? Fluidal-Powers. That's it. Fluidal-Powers and other things. And so this is based on a kitchen conversations that Billy has had with core group members in their kitchen where he lives. They would set up a tape recorder in the center of the table, and they'd have these conversations about various topics. And of course, the topics of cremation or organ transplants or fluidal energies, ghosts, right? Ghosts. That's another one, that is, and so people would want to know, what is this all about, and and so he would get into these explanations and answer people's questions. And so this book is a compilation of explanations about what fluidal energies are, also covering what is the paranormal, and also goes into the process of dying, what happens in the overall consciousness block, and the preparation of the new spirit form, preparation of the new personality, along with the reincarnating spirit form. So that process of building up the new personality and preparation of the new personality for the next incarnation, and anyway, there's interesting points there too, which for example, I'll just go into one small example. The monitoring of the time are always occurring in the overall consciousness block, so that when the new personality incarnates for the first time, right? Spirit form reincarnates. So it's what is eternal, same spirit form, but different personalities. But when the new personality incarnates with the spirit form or creation energy part piece, it is not at a complete loss when it comes to the changing times and technologies and everything. So there is a monitoring of the times in the realm of the overall consciousness block. So that's an interesting point. Anyway, and then the latest book that we've published is and translated is From the Depths of Outer Space: Contacts with the Pleiadians / Plejaren. And so that
I think I purchased that book from your website, and I think you sent it to me.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a very interesting book. It really gives a good overview of Billy Meier's contacts, and also a little bit about the science that was, the investigators, and but especially interesting for me anyway has been the first contacts that Billy had with Svat for 11 years, and then with Asket, and the adventures that went on, and also insights into the lifestyle of the Plejaren people, and what they eat and how they live, and what type of government they have, and how they grow food, and this is these incredible. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Well, that is quite a lot of books you guys have published. What a great service to the English-speaking world that we have the ability to read those books through your guys' efforts. So thank you on that. What about publications for the future? Are you working on anything now, or what might be coming up? What new publications might you be doing?
So now we're working on Rebirth, death, dying, rebirth, living, death, dying, and sorrow. Yeah, so that is an incredible book. That couldn't come out any sooner. It really goes into detail about the whole process of the process. Well, actually, and same with Fluidal-Energies. I mean, I would say even Fluidal-Energies goes into even finer details about what happens in the realm of the overall consciousness block. But a Rebirth book goes into that process in very understandable terms, that how the personality only exists in there's one unique personality for each life, and but that nothing is lost. There's everything is there's the storage banks. It goes right into detail about the storage banks, and it just brings clarity to the whole death and dying process too. That's the other thing. Is quite a large section of the book is talking about coping with death. Either death of one's own death, of course, being prepared for it, but also the death of someone that's close to you, for example, and envisioning them dying. And so actually going through the mental preparation by seeing how you would feel if they did die, so that you are already preparing yourself for that eventuality, should it happen before you yourself die. So that's one example, but also how people have to deal with the death of not only a spouse but their children. Feelings of guilt. If I had done it differently, and how that can be a self blame thing that can be really debilitating, and so it's the challenges of dealing with death, not only your own death, but of course the death of others, and especially of those that you feel attached to and close to, and how to cope with it. Basically, it's so it's quite interesting in that way. And
how long before?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I was going to say, how long do you think before that might be available?
Oh yeah. Well, we're aiming to have it available by around by the 1st of August.
This year?
This year, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the book is just about good to go. We're just in the final stages, and then we're moving ahead with it. And then after that, we have the next book, which is I'd say almost good to go as well. But we'll try to release it this year as well, later on in the year, or early next year. Would be Genesis, and that's an incredible, another. Each book you think you've exhausted all the information, and it just there's always more. I mean, even the books that we've translated, I have to confess that I haven't read them all. It's too much. Or right now I'm working my way through The Might of Thoughts, and it's an incredible book. And I've tried to go through it before, and I've gone halfway, and I just I can't do it. But this time I'm really determined, and it's such an amazing book. But it's like that with all the material, and Genesis is yet another one of those books that is just packed with information about not only about the formation of our of something out of nothing, which is again a whole other thing to wrap your head around. But
well, we can't wait for those two books to become available in the English language. So that's really exciting. If people wanted to contact you, if they want to get in contact with you, either a website or YouTube or email, what's the best way?
Mm-hmm. Well, probably the easiest way is through our website, which is ca.figu.org, or probably if you type in FIGU-Landesgruppe Canada. Well, that's a little bit more complicated. You got to get the Landesgruppe spelled correctly, but FIGU Canada, if you could just go Google FIGU Canada or whatever you're going to use for browsing, then you should come across our site. And there we have a lot of stuff on our website, including a multimedia tab where you can see all the various locations where we have videos posted on YouTube, BitChute, Odyssey, Rumble, and so Twitter, Instagram, all our locations are there. Yeah, so ca.figu.org. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Michael, so much for your time. We really appreciate you sharing what the FIGU-Landesgruppe Canada has done and what they may do shortly in the future with your new books and everything. So Thank you so much for your time, and good luck and best wishes.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to share this information.